The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Welcome to today's role play session with your host, James McDonald.
Well, thank you very much, Andrew, and I'd like to start by welcoming our participants to our role play session here today. And you have a choice here. You can either volunteer to do some role playing with me, or you can just elect to sit back and listen to everybody else. And then next Thursday, then you'll be all geared up and ready to go, and you won't feel embarrassed about volunteering, because what you realize is that all of us are striving to really succeed and master this script. So, we all learn from each other very, very much. But I do want to begin the session by breaking down this script again. This is like just a really quick revisiting of why the script works in the way it does. And the way that I want to do this is I simply want to break up the script into three parts. And I want to sort of get the juices flowing before you guys volunteer. I want you to listen to this, and then when you volunteer, this is all going to be fresh in the forefront of your mind, and you're going to do an outstanding job when you volunteer to do some role playing with me. So here we go. This is what we're going to do. The script is going to be broken up into three parts: the introduction, the questions, and the offer. All right? So each one has a purpose. The purpose of the introduction is to answer the question, who are you and why are you bothering me? And it's to elicit a reaction of appreciation from your prospect. And it's to make sure that you are not viewed as a telemarketer. Okay? So let me just, again, the introduction. What is it trying to accomplish? Number one, it's answering the question that the prospect has, which is, who is this and why are you bothering me? Number two, it's to elicit a reaction of appreciation, so that when we're finished introducing ourselves, the prospect actually appreciates our phone call. And then number three, it's to differentiate us from a telemarketer. If the prospect feels like we're a telemarketer, there won't be any reaction of appreciation from the prospect. Okay? All of those things, the introduction accomplishes if done effectively. Okay, now that brings us to the qualifying questions. And the qualifying questions are really probing questions. They're not intrusive. They don't ask you, your credit score, how much money you make, or any personal questions like that. They're conversational questions that allow you to discuss your timing and motivation. That's what they're designed to do. Now, here is the most critical part of the timing and motivation questions. It is to ask all of the questions, because it is likely that the very first question that you asked, the prospect will keep you at an arm's length, and they will make themselves appear as though they are less motivated than they actually are. So let me repeat that. What prospects do to salespeople is they make themselves appear as though they are less motivated than they in fact actually are. That's why when we walk into the store, we say, no thanks, just looking, when really we intend on buying. We make ourselves look like we're less motivated than in fact we may actually be. When we go onto the car lot and we're looking at cars, we might say, well, I'm just looking for a friend. But really, we're looking for us, and we're really a lot more motivated. But to salespeople, what we do is we make ourselves appear as though we're less motivated than we actually are. So the key to the way to combat that is by making sure that we're asking different questions that are either or questions and that really elicit a conversation. They encourage the prospect to elaborate on their moving plans. If you were to make a move, would you be staying locally or might you move out of the area? It's an either or. See, what becomes apparent is that with each question, the prospect runs out of a script. They don't have a script. And the easiest thing to do is to just tell the truth. And that's what most prospects do. They'll just tell the truth. Well, look, here's our deal. Now you know the true timing and motivation of your prospect. The biggest mistake with this second section of the universal script is asking the first question, letting the prospect's answer determine for you that they're not motivated, and getting rid of that prospect. And it's easy to do that. It's why when you don't understand this and don't possess the skills yet, what we'll often hear is the leads are no good. The leads are no good. It's like Everybody I talk to, I say, are you planning on making a move in the next 3 to 6 months? And they say, no, not really. So by that estimation, I would come to the conclusion that virtually every one of these leads that I generate are really no good, and none of them are really planning on moving. They're all just kind of just thinking about it or just looking or no. Just like if I'm the salesperson at the shoe store, and on my first day, I stand at the front door of the shoe store, and everybody that walks in, I say, hi there, may I help you? And virtually everybody says, no, thanks, just looking. And I don't go any further than that. I just stand at the door. I don't turn around. I don't look to see if any of those people are buying shoes. What I do is I just keep a little tally of how many of these prospects I asked, may I help you, and how many said, no, thanks, just looking. And what I would find is that somewhere around 99% of prospects are no good. And I would say, gee, I got to quit this job. This is not going anywhere. I mean, look at this, boss. 99% of the prospects here aren't even buying shoes. They're just looking. They told me so. I asked them. They told me. I mean, surely they wouldn't be lying about that. So now you're listening to this saying, well, yeah, I mean, that's exactly what we do. Craig designed these questions with this in mind because this is how it works. When you come back with the prospect, are you looking for formal shoes or casual shoes, right? Are you looking for loafers or lace-ups? When all of a sudden you start to ask questions that the prospect doesn't have a script for, you know what you start finding out? The true timing and motivation of the prospect. So that's what we're going to do in this fact-finding mission that are the probing questions. Okay, now that brings us to the final section of our script, which is the offer. Okay, now, in the offer, this is really important. We always need to make sure that the prospect understands the benefit, and we need to make the correct offer. So if it is evident in asking our probing questions that this prospect is not going to be doing anything for several months, then the correct offer isn't to book an appointment with them. Their motivation isn't there yet, or their timing isn't there yet. So we want to follow up with this prospect because it's clear that their timing is going to be there in the near future. So we're going to follow up with them, and the way we're going to follow up with them is by offering them a benefit first. Remember, benefit first, then commitment. So watch this. Here's benefit first. Would it be okay if I followed up with you by sending you my free monthly newsletter? It's full of great market information and market statistics that will really keep you up to date on what's happening. It's free. Would you like me to go ahead and send that to you every month? Total benefit. And it's free. Absolutely no risk attached to that. Now, the prospect says, yes, that would be great. Please do. Now we're able to come back and say, and when would it be okay for me to follow up with you when you're a little closer to making your move? We make the benefit first. We show the prospect that we're going to do something that's benefit to them, get the prospect to opt into that, and then we can take the next step and say, would it be okay if I followed up with you? And if so, when would be a good time to do that when you'd be closer to making your move? And you know what you'll find? The prospect will give you a very accurate answer. Well, you know what? Call us at the end of the school year. That's when we're really going to start looking in earnest. Okay? Now, we're going to take their timing and we're going to cut it in half. We're always going to make sure that we call a little bit earlier than the prospect suggests. Okay, but what if the prospect does demonstrate that there's motivation there? We take the buyer offer. Remember, it's benefit first, then commitment. You tell the buyer what it is. You don't say, hey, buyer, I'd really like to meet with you. When are you available to meet? Now, I'll tell you why I want to meet with you, because this is what I'd like to do. That's the backwards way of doing it. As soon as you suggest the commitment, the prospect shuts you down. So instead, what you want to do is you want to talk about the benefit, the WIFM, to the prospect. So the way it's designed is you tell them what it is that you propose to offer them that would make their lives better and easier in terms of how they're going to look for a property. Would you like me to email you every day all the best deals that come on the market that perfectly match what you're looking for? There are great properties that you may find difficult to find, like bank distress sales, company-owned properties, probates. There are phenomenal deals that pop up that might match exactly what you want, and I'm going to make sure they're sitting in your email inbox the moment they come on the market. It's free. There's no obligation. Would you like me to set you up on that? See, I've completely focused on the benefit without any mention whatsoever of the commitment. Now the prospect is able to listen to that and picture that and say, yeah, that would be great. That would really be helpful. Well, good. When have you got 15 minutes so we can sit down and do a good job for you? You know, I'm flexible. Don't bring your wallet or checkbook. There's no cost. You're never obligated to buy anything. What would work best? Evenings or afternoons? And you book appointments all day long doing that. Okay, so, and the same is true on the seller side as well. We're really making sure the prospect understands the benefit of the appointment. If they understand the benefit, a worthy prospect will accept, and all of a sudden, the leads that used to be bad leads, all of a sudden, are wonderful leads. And what you discover is this. The key to making your lead generation effective is lead conversion. Okay, let me explain what I mean by that. The key to making your lead generation effective is by having effective lead conversion. The reason for that is if your lead conversion is really good and you've mastered this universal script and you've mastered the buyer and listing presentation, then here's how that affects lead generation. It means you don't need to generate very many leads. And if you don't need to generate very many leads because you're really good at lead conversion, it means you don't need to spend as much time on the phone converting leads. In other words, you don't need to generate 10 leads to book a single appointment. Generating 10 leads is more expensive than generating 3 leads. Calling back and converting, trying to convert 10 leads is more time consuming than calling back 3 leads and booking an appointment. So the better you are at lead conversion, the better and stronger your lead generation system is as well. It means you don't need as much and you don't need to spend as much time doing it. The opposite is true though. If you aren't good at lead conversion, you need hundreds of leads to get anywhere. And hundreds of leads is more expensive. And hundreds of leads is way more time consuming to convert. None of that you're interested in. We want to pluck the low-hanging fruit. We want to be really good at this. See, Craig is a big believer in the idea that the way you are paid is based on skill. Okay, it is based on skill. In other words, much of the system is automated. Okay, putting in place the lead generator, setting up your website, setting up an automated hotline, testing and tracking and making sure all that, that is automated. That has nothing to do with your skill level. Anybody could do that if they put it in place and they follow the model. They can put that in place. That does not require skill. What requires skill are the words that come out of your mouth. That requires skill. And you will be paid in direct proportion to the quality of words that come out of your mouth. Whether those words are coming out of your mouth over the telephone, in converting a lead to an appointment, or whether they're coming out of your mouth when you're face-to-face with that prospect. These are the skills that will make everything better. So that's why we're working on this here today. Now, having said all that, I know that we've got plenty of volunteers here that want to do role-playing with us. And as we promise every week, we don't want to give you the impression that, we're sucking up your entire day here getting on these role-play sessions. The idea is that we're going to spend an hour, maybe a little over an hour, and we'll get to as many role plays as possible, and you're going to learn as much by you yourself volunteering as by listening to your fellow students in the coaching program. So having said that, Andrea, our most lovely operator and moderator and helper of all, is going to take some volunteers here. But hang on, before you do, Andrea, I also, now that I have everybody's attention, I want to remind everybody how important it is that for tomorrow's ad clinic session, you upload your ads. Please make sure you go to the ad clinic file, make sure that you've got your ads downloaded into your computer so that you can simply upload them to the ad clinic session. And if you can't and you don't know how to do that, email them to me. You email them to me, I'll make sure that they get onto the ad clinic. It's james@craigproctor.com. james@craigproctor.com. Take a picture of your ad on your smartphone and then email me the picture of the ad, and I'll make sure it gets onto the ad clinic session. But it's not difficult to do, and I'm telling you, it just makes so much sense to make sure that you're maximizing the results that you can be getting from your lead generation. I mean, if you're going to do it, let's make sure we're maximizing and getting every possible benefit we can get. And Craig is going to be doing that tomorrow, and he's really excited about that. Okay, sorry, Andrea. Let's crank it up.
Okay, if you would like to role play, all you have to do is let me know by typing in the chat box, I'd like to role play, or clicking the hand icon. You must have a working mic or be on the telephone to participate. Our first guest is going to be Jan from the Graham Ayers team. Your mic is now open. Jan?
Wow. Good morning. I heard like a crazy sound. I don't even know if that was what species that was. All right. Well, somebody needs their coffee.
Hello?
Jan. Oh. There she is.
Jane. Hello?
Hello, is this Jan?
It's Jane.
Jane. I'm sorry,
yes,
Jane.
That's okay. No worries.
Well, Jane, this is James.
Hi, James. I have been waiting for 4 weeks to talk to you.
4 weeks, and here we are.
Here we are.
Well, good. Let's make sure that we do a good job here. So you're going to volunteer to do a role play.
Yes.
Before we do that, let me ask you, typically the prospects that you're converting, where are they coming from?
They're coming from a list that we purchased called Real Estate Pal.
Okay, so but what are these prospects requesting? How did
a little bit of everything. They're requesting a little bit of everything. They're just a general property information request would be coming in.
Okay.
And yeah, it could be anything from farm to corporate.
I gotcha. Okay, yeah. All right. So I requested information, and now you're following up with me. So ring, ring. Hello.
Hi, James.
Yeah. Who's this?
This is Jane from Realty Executives, and the reason I'm calling is because I received your request for information you wanted, and I wanted to mail it to you. Is that okay?
What information was that?
It's information on the property that you had an interest in.
Okay. What property was that now?
I'm
sorry. I've been calling on some.
Yes, that was the Port Perry information.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Can you email that?
I absolutely can do that. I'd like to ask you a question, though. Are you planning on making a move within the next 3 to 6 months?
Yeah, if we find the right property, we would consider that.
Okay, and are you renting right now, or do you own your home?
No, we own.
Okay, and you're planning on staying in the same area, or are you moving out of the area of which you're in right now?
Well, we're in Bob Cajun right now, and yeah, we're thinking about different areas. So Port Perry was one of them.
Okay.
But yeah, we're not. I mean, we're open if we find the right. We know what we're looking for. So.
And when do you see yourself making that move? Are you wanting to settle before September?
Well, I don't know. We're really just looking right now. So before September, yeah, if we find the right property, certainly. But we're not going to make a mistake, and just sell our home and be stuck, settling for something. We really want to make sure we find the right property.
Okay. Are you wanting to sell your home first before you make a move?
No. That's what I'm saying is we want to make sure we find the right property first.
Okay.
To make sure that, we're not stuck with our home sold and then we settle for a property that really isn't what we want.
Okay. And do you currently have a realtor to help you when the time is right?
I know. We've just been calling. I mean, if we see a property we like, we just call the agent that has the listing, like you.
Okay. Would you like me to email you daily updates of homes that would match your buying criteria from all real estate companies, including bank foreclosures, company-owned properties, or distressed sales? It's free service that we have for you, of course, and you're never obligated to buy a home from us. Would that be of interest?
Yeah, sure. I'd like to see anything that you have that you think would match what I'm looking for. Can I tell you what I'm looking for?
Absolutely.
Okay. Well, first of all, we definitely want something waterfront. that would be, I mean, we'd like something waterfront, we'd like something private. In 3 or 4 bedrooms is fine. You know, it's got to be at least 2,500 square feet. And we're looking, you know, somewhere in the, you know, say 450 to 650 price range. We'd entertain looking at that. So you can see we're pretty wide open, and that, you know, probably means that we might be able to see a lot of different properties. But that's sort of where we're at right now.
Okay. And can I confirm your email address? We'd be happy to send those to you.
Sure. It's james@craigproctor.com.
Okay. And the number I have to reach you at is 905-555-1212. Is there another alternate number that might work as well? No,
that's my cell phone. That's my cell phone. If you call there, I'll answer it, you know, most of the time.
Okay, wonderful. I will make sure that we have that information to you today. And should you have any questions, please feel free to give me a call. Otherwise, I would like to follow up with you. When would be a good time for me to follow up with you with respect to the properties that we're sending?
Well, you can, I guess if you wanted to, you can give me a call, you know, maybe in a couple weeks. But if I have any questions about these properties that you send, I will certainly, I'll certainly give you a call.
That's wonderful. Thank you so much. I really appreciate your time.
Okay, Jane,
Yes.
You did so well right up until the offer, and then you went off the rails a little bit. Okay?
Oh, dear. Okay.
It's okay. It's okay. Let me start from the top, though. Okay, first of all, what is really important, because this is something that's very difficult to teach. Now, I won't say you either have it or you don't. It can be learned and honed, but here's the deal. To have a professional phone mannerism is absolutely essential, and you've got it. You know, in other words, it's clear, it's concise, it's conversational, it doesn't sound scripted. It sounds like I'm talking to a professional, to an expert. And that is your mannerism on the phone. And it's really an important quality. It's one of those intangible qualities that you really do need to have. It makes a huge difference. You've got that going for you in spades. That's awesome. Your introduction was great. Except what I would recommend is this. If it's somebody who is calling on a specific property and you say, I'm calling about the real estate information, you know, it might be a little bit vague. If you know what it was that they were requesting, then you can just say so. You know,
okay.
You were calling about the property at 123 Maple Street, and why don't you say this instead? I've put together that information and I've sent it to you. And instead of specifying how it was sent, because we really don't want to get into that. Okay, remember this. We don't want to talk about what was sent to them. We don't want to talk about the mail service or all you want to say is either it's one of two things. I'm preparing that information and you should receive it shortly, or I've prepared that or I've sent that information. I hope that's okay. It's one of the two. You're either preparing it or you've sent it. But we don't need to say you mailed or you emailed, or especially if there's some confusion with that. You know, it's really all it does is it brings the conversation in a direction that is unnecessary, is all I'm saying.
Okay.
Having said that, not a big deal. Okay, then we jump right into the qualifying questions, okay? Really good job. You're probing, you're asking me different questions. Am I planning on staying in the area? Asking about, you know, different timing. Would I prefer to look around before I sell my present home? Do you have an agent to help you? All very, very well done. Now, here's what happened with you.
Okay.
Upon asking those questions, you arrived at the conclusion that although I had a home to sell, I'm not going to be selling it until I find the right property. So you immediately said, ha-ha, they're looking for a property. I'm going to make them the buyer offer. So you said, would you like me to email you properties that match your home buying criteria from all the different real estate companies? Our list includes company-owned, bank-owned properties, blah, blah, blah. Okay, and I said, yes, that would be wonderful. And then I led the conversation, and I told you, would you like to know what I'm looking for? Now, this is the part where what needs to happen is you're trying to book a face-to-face appointment with me, but instead of booking the face-to-face appointment, instead we're doing the appointment over the phone. That's not going to work. Okay.
You know, that happens to me all the time, too, right now.
Okay, so here's what needs to happen.
Okay.
As soon as the prospect says, yes, that would be helpful, what needs to happen is you need to say this. When can we get together for 15 minutes so I can do a good, proper job of taking down exactly what you're looking for in detail so that we don't miss out on any properties? It's absolutely free. There's no obligation for you to buy anything. And I'm flexible. When would be a good time for us to meet? Days, evenings, weekends? And see, here's what you're anticipating. You're anticipating that all of the prospects would object to that. But this is what
Yes.
you've got to remember. That prospect is driving around now looking at properties. They're already driving around, and not only are they driving around, but it's been fruitless. In other words, they've been driving around burning gas, burning time, and they have yet to find what they're looking for. So for you to think, well, they're never going to want to drive to come to me, think about it. What they've been doing now has been a waste of time and gas. What you're proposing is to say, look, you're already driving around. You come to my office, you sit down with me, and we're going to do a good job of making sure that you know about the best properties that actually match what you're looking for the moment they come on the market. Okay?
Yeah.
Remember this. What you're offering to the buyer is a solution to their problem. Their problem is they need to find the perfect home before they can sell. Your solution is the perfect home may come up and go very quickly, or you may never know about it. If you come and spend 15 minutes with me, that will never happen. I will email it to you the second it comes available on the market. It'll be sitting in your email inbox. You will not miss the opportunity for that perfect property. Now, you don't ever want to get into a discussion on what the property is that the prospect is looking for, because that's the whole purpose of the appointment.
Right.
You know that in your MLS there are probably 40 different fields in your MLS search criteria that you can look for in a property. Surely you're not going to go over 40 different pieces of criteria over the phone with a prospect. Some MLSs have 80 or 100 different fields that you can search for properties. So, in other words, this isn't something that you're going to do over the phone. If you really want to do a good job for a prospect, you need to meet with them face-to-face. But don't worry, I'm not going to charge you any money. I'm certainly not obligating you to buy a home. This is just a better way for you to find what you're looking for. Jane, you've just got to have the confidence that when the prospect tells you they're looking for a property, when you make them this offer and you ask them to meet with you, they will say yes. Nobody buys a home without meeting with a real estate agent. They're all going to meet with a real estate agent. Okay? So
now,
what you're saying is, well, I know they'll meet with a real estate agent, just not me. Not true.
Right.
They will meet with you, but you just got to give them a reason to, and you have.
Okay. I have a question for you, James. I totally agree with what you're saying. In fact, I couldn't agree with you more. At the same time, on the list of the contacts that I'm working with, what I'm finding is a lot of them live a fair distance away from where we are located. How do you draw them? How do you get past that?
Well, here's one of the ways that you can do that is if they're looking for a property in your area, then it's easy because they're coming to your area anyway to look for property. So the way you can do that is you can say, look, here's what I propose. When you have 15 minutes, we can sit down and go over exactly what you're looking for. But at the same time, what we'll also do is we can set up some showings, or I can prepare a list of immediate properties that I can give you so that when you get here, you've got some properties that you can take a look at right away. In other words, I'm going to maximize your time. If you're going to spend the time to come here to Lindsay or wherever it is that you are, and you're going to come here, then I'm going to make sure that not only are we going to take down your criteria so that I can email you these properties as they come on the market, but in addition, let's prepare a list of immediate properties so that when you get here, I will give you this fresh list of immediate properties, and you can go and look at them, or if you want, I'd be more than happy to set up showings for you to take a look at some of them that you might be interested in inside. There's no cost to it. You're not obligated to buy anything. I can do that for you as well. What you're doing is you're giving them all the reason in the world why it would be to their benefit to come to you. And if they're buying a property in your marketplace, well, then it's something they have to do anyway.
Interesting. Okay. That's fabulous. Thank you.
Now, here's another option as well, is if they're out of the area and they're not exactly looking immediately where you are, then you can meet them at their home or meet them somewhere in the middle. It's not the best scenario. The best scenario is always at your office. But I'll tell you what, meeting them someplace else, a coffee shop or somewhere, is better than not meeting with them. And I'll tell you where you're never going to meet with them. You're never going to meet with them at a property that you're showing them.
Right.
You show them a property, they will not buy that property. They will get in the car and they will say, thank you so much, and they will drive away.
Right.
And that will be the end of it. And what you've demonstrated is you're willing to take them and show them anything without any, any kind of loyalty or obligation. And you've set the precedence, and once you have, there's no going back. Okay. I'm so glad that we finally we got to talk here, Jane, but I have to move on because we have others in the queue. So, Andrea, who have we got next?
We have Mark Huntington. Your mic is now open. Mark, say hello. Mark is with Mary. There you go.
Hello, hello.
Okay. One more chance. Say hello. We can hear you.
All right, we better move on.
We better move on.
We'll go back to them if we can.
Okay. We have James Gillis. Your mic is now open.
Hello, James. Are you there? Why are we having so much trouble here?
I'm not sure. Are you there, James?
Hello? It depends on which James you're talking to.
Wait, James Gillis, we can barely hear you. I don't know if you're sitting far away from your computer or if you have a headset. Can you try one more time?
Can you hear me now?
No.
Not really. You'll need to dial in on your telephone, James Gillis. We'll go on to Joe Bayloot. Your mic is now open.
Hi, Andrea, and hi, James.
Hello. Are you either underwater or in outer space?
Is that bad?
Well, it doesn't sound particularly clear. What's funny, though, is that of the last 2 or 3 attempts, you're probably the best one.
How about now? Is it any better?
You know what? It's really not all that clear, but we're going to give it a go here.
Oh, okay.
All right? So we'll give it a shot. All right. So you ready to do some role-playing?
Yeah, sure. If I can, I'm actually having issues with sellers that forgot that they signed up for an online home evaluation on our website, and they're kind of not sure about giving out certain information, like personal information, because they're not really sure if it's a valid or it's a legit call. So I'm having issues with that, having issues with entering those kind of leads.
Okay. All right, so I'll be a prospect that requested an online home evaluation. No big deal. We'll role play through this, and let's see what you're doing here. So, ring, hello.
Hi, it's James there.
This is James.
Oh, hi, James. This is Joe from the Reynolds team, and the reason I'm calling is because we received your request for an online home evaluation to check how much your home would be worth, and we're just calling to check if you're planning to make a move in 3 to 6 months.
Yeah, we're thinking about it. It's something that we're considering doing, yeah.
Okay, that's good. If you were to move, would you be staying in the area or moving out of the area?
No, we're definitely staying in the area.
All right. And when do you think that might be, you moving into a new home?
You know what? We're just really early in the process right now. Basically where we're at is, it really depends on what our home is worth, what equity we can pull out of this property, and financial stuff, is really going to make the decision for us. So if financially this makes sense, we'd love something bigger. There's some things that we would like: a pool, maybe a little bit more space. And if we can do it, and the dollars and cents match up, then you know what? It's something that we'll do probably in the next 3 to 6 months, like you say. And if not, we'll put it on the back burner and we'll do something, maybe in a couple years.
All right. So you're upgrading to a newer home. That's why you're selling this one.
Well, I don't care if it's newer. It's more the home itself than the age of the home.
All right. Well, James, have you talked to any realtor to help you when the time is right?
No, not really.
All right. Now, would you prefer to buy first before you list your home, or would you like to sell first?
Well, we need the equity from this home in order to buy the next home, obviously. So, like, we are not in a position where we could buy something without selling our home. Like, we'd have to buy something and make the offer, contingent on selling our property. And even then, we would not sleep very well at night under that scenario. So, it really is going to depend on, somebody coming along and putting in an offer on our property where we know that we're going to be left with enough in our pocket, to make this work.
Oh, well, what we'd like to do here in our company is we'd like to provide you a free market evaluation, determine how much your home would sell for. Also, we could give you tips on what to do and what not to do to sell your home for the most amount of money. And we can go over all the various closing costs so you will incur for you when you'll know what you'll have left in your pocket after all expenses. Now, it's a free of charge and obligated to nothing. Does this sound helpful?
Yeah, that sounds like a good idea. So is this different than the evaluation that I requested?
This would be different. The home line evaluation that we offer, it's really vague. What we're offering is a true market value evaluation, because it's really hard to determine how much your home is worth if we haven't seen it yet. Now, we'd just like to ask you for about 20 minutes of your time, so we could go to your home, evaluate properly, and then we can go on from there. When would you be available? Would it be okay if we go like tomorrow? Or are you okay with evenings or weekends?
You know what? It's Thursday today. Probably on the weekend would be better. We're around all weekend, so any time on the weekend would probably work out.
All right. Most of our clients, they'd like to see the property, or most of our clients, they want us to go there by the afternoons. Let's make it like 2 p.m. in this Saturday. Is that okay?
Yeah, 2 p.m. Saturday is fine.
All right. So, we do have the address here on our website, on our file. We'll be sending you an email on what would to follow up, and then we'll see you there 2 p.m. on Saturday.
Okay, good stuff. Okay, now, couple things here. Okay, first of all, when you're going through the script, I like it. Okay, good job going through the qualifying questions. As soon as you get to the offer, though, it's amazing how it's like a switch. And all of a sudden, when you know that you're now, it's like, for lack of better terminology, you're at the close. Now you're closing the prospect for the appointment. It's like all of a sudden a switch goes off and you become extremely rigid and mechanical and reading the script. You've got to recognize that you're doing that. Because the rest of the script, you're free-flowing, you're having a conversation with me, and now all of a sudden you get to the offer, and all of a sudden you turn into a robot. And I know it's natural to do that. It's because you don't want to mess it up, right? You want to make sure. But here's what you got to do. The really nice conversational tone that you have the entire call, keep that. Don't get rid of, don't abandon that. It's really good. It's working for you. Don't lose that. Okay, now what I like is that you asked the questions that you needed to ask to figure out what kind of an appointment you ought to be booking with me. But there's some language in there that you included that is unnecessary and really you don't like. I don't like. For example, when you're introducing the offer, you said what my company and I would like to do and all this. You know what? We've got to remember this. The prospect is not going to take action based on what you want or your company wants. They're going to take action based on WIFM. What's in it for me? That's what's going to cause them to take action. So we've got to frame this offer completely around what's in it for me. Would you like an evaluation of your home where if I can take a look at your property, I can pinpoint much more accurately the likely sales price of your property. And in addition, I can point out some inexpensive tips, some things to do and not do to further increase the value of your property. We can go over a net sheet so you'll know exactly what you'll have left in your pocket once all the closing costs are incurred. We can talk about timing. Any questions that you have. It's absolutely free. There's no obligation whatsoever, but it would give you a much more accurate idea of where you stand. And I'm flexible. What would be good for you? Days, evenings, weekends, what would be best?
Okay, I got it.
Okay? Here's what you don't need to practice any other part of the script because you've got it nailed. You're really good. The only part you need to practice is making the offer.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I seldom get to that point when I'm talking to possible sellers because they shut me down automatically because they forgot that they requested for an online home evaluation and they said, "Oh, I'm not interested," and then they put down the phone. So if you could read through me, I seldom get seller to go to that part.
Okay, remember this. If the prospect understands, okay, if the prospect understands the benefit of your offer and you've removed the risk, okay, they will listen to you. Okay? Okay. This is all about how you frame this offer. Okay? But if you started off by saying what my company would like to do, you know what? I mean, yeah, it's kind of like, you know, how you feel is well, this is a salesperson and a company, and it's not really what you're, you know, it's not a benefit to the prospect.
Okay.
What is the tangible benefit to the prospect? That's what you must focus on if you would like the prospect to book an appointment with you. Not focusing on what your company wants or what you want, but focusing on them and what would be a benefit to them. You almost wanted to make it sound like this is an idea that you came up with just for them specifically.
Mm-hmm.
You know, hey, Joe, you know, it kind of sounds like what you really need is an accurate evaluation of what your home would really be worth, you know, and really anything that you can do to make your home worth more and to know exactly what you're going to have left in your pocket once all the closing costs are incurred. I think, Joe, that if you knew that, I think you'd sleep a lot better at night knowing where you stand with the home that you'd like to purchase. If you want, I can give you all of that information. Certainly I'm flexible, days, evenings, weekends, whatever works best for you. Would you find that helpful? Right? So I want you to work on that language, and I want you to work on making it extremely conversational, just like you have in the rest of the script, and you will start booking appointments. But remember, these online home evaluations are among the highest quality prospects that you will generate. They are absolutely – the reason they want this information, the reason they gave up their anonymity is because they are motivated to sell their home. No one does it if they're not motivated to sell their home. That's why they're doing it. Okay? The buck stops.
Thank you for the knowledge.
Perfect. All right. Well, good luck, Joe, and we'll look forward to hearing from you next time.
Our next guest is Bob Connor. Your mic is now open. Bob?
Hello, Bob. We have Silent Bob on the line, right, Andrea?
We do. Okay, we have Mark. They have fixed their audio issue. So, Mark Kensington, your line is open again.
Hello?
Hello, who's this?
Hello. This is Mary from Mark's office.
Okay, well, we've got some issues here.
It sounds like...
Yeah.
I'm so sorry. Okay, I've gone ahead and muted their line. Mark, in order to fix that issue, you're going to have to get either on the telephone or get a headset, because I can tell you're talking directly to your computer, and then we can hear ourselves through the speakers. So that won't work for a role play. So let me go back and clear my screen, and we will pick another volunteer. Sorry for talking over you, James. Sometimes it's hard to hear when there's an echo like that. Okay, we have Paula Tisowski. Your line is now open. Okay, Paula disconnected her line. Looks like she's trying to actually call in with a telephone, so we'll go back. We have Rena Agardi. Your mic is now open.
Yes.
Rena,
Hello.
go ahead.
Hi.
Hello, who's this?
Hi, it's Rena. It's Rena.
Rena? Hi, Rena.
Hi.
It's James.
Hi, James.
Hi, Rena. I can hear you loud and clear. Isn't that wonderful?
Okay. Good, good.
All right. Okay.
So,
so what are we doing today here? What are we doing here today, Rena?
what I'd like for you to do is, to be honest with you, I'd like for you to give me a little bit of a hard time, if that's possible.
Oh, it's my specialty. Are you kidding me?
Because I find once I give the my intro's good. Like, at least I think so. My intro's good, and my offer's good. I ask all the pertinent questions, and then when it comes to the offer, they'll say, well, I'm just looking, or we're not really. They're like you were saying at the very beginning. They're not disclosing their motivation. So that's where it's kind of to the follow-up stage.
Right. Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. Okay. Well, in other words, they're not really forthcoming in giving you their timing and motivation.
Well, they are, but they're well, we're just looking, and when it comes time to booking the appointment and getting the information from them to kind of get them to commit, like you have the information that they want. You're making that great offer. You're putting in there's no cost. Leave your wallet at home and your checkbook, and you're giving them all the information, and then they still don't want to meet with a realtor. They want to give you the information over the phone, like I've heard from a couple of the other volunteers. So nobody really wants to, commit to it. Well, I'm not really looking. So it's just a matter of getting past that hurdle, and that's where I kind of get lost a little bit.
Okay. All right, so let's do it. So ring. Hello.
Hi, James there, please.
Yeah, this is James. Who's this?
Hi, James. My name is Rena, and I'm calling from iPro Realty. And the reason why I'm calling is because I received your request for information on properties in the Caledon area, and I've emailed that information to you, and I wanted to make sure that was okay.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay. Can I ask, are you folks planning on making a move in the next 3 to 6 months?
Not really. We're just, we'd just like to look around.
Okay. Right now, where you're living, do you currently rent, or do you own your own home?
No, we own.
You own it. Okay. Now, are you planning on staying in the area that you're living in, or are you thinking about moving out of the area?
We're not. I mean, like I said, we're just looking around and seeing what's out there and kind of dipping our toes in the water.
Right. So if you were to move, like if you, I know that you're,
if we were to do something, yeah, we would definitely stay in Caledon area. Yeah, okay. Certainly.
Okay. Now, if you were to move, because I know you said that you're just looking. Now, if you were to move, do you have any idea when that might be? Like, do you have a timeline? Like, are you thinking, by the summer, by the fall, sometime next year? What is your timeline if you have?
Well, I guess. I'll tell you what. If we're going to do this, we would definitely do it. Sometime before the fall. Before October, we would, that sort of within sort of 3 to 6 months ish.
Okay. Now, would you prefer to buy before you listed your house, or would you put your house up for sale before you moved?
No, we would look around. We would look around and find something first. And if we find something that we like, and we have seen some properties that are really, really nice. But you know what, the timing just wasn't there. Maybe if it was a little later on and we'd seen some of those properties, maybe we would have bid. But you know what, that's sort of where we're at.
Okay. Now, do you have a realtor to help you when the time is right? When you're ready?
Well, no, when we bought our home, we just called the realtor from the sign. We saw the property, called off the sign, and we feel like we really got a great deal. So honestly, you know what? Why fix what isn't broken? We'll probably, we'll probably just do the same thing. So if you have a great listing, we would absolutely call you and hope that you could help us.
Okay. Would you like me to email you daily updates of homes that match your specific home buying criteria from all the real estate companies? And the list we have includes all bank foreclosures, company-owned properties, distressed sales, properties that haven't even hit the market yet. It's a free service, and of course, you're never obligated to buy a home. Does that sound like something that you would find interesting?
Yeah. You know what? I go online now. I go to MLS.ca and some other sites, and I got some of them notifying me of properties and stuff like that. But yeah, no, that would be, if it's more thorough, if there's even more properties that I'm already getting, then yeah, that would be helpful.
Okay, well, when can we get together for about 15 or 20 minutes so we can take down exactly what you're looking for? We have a special form that we fill out that takes down very specific information from you. It's, of course, again, a free service, and you're never obligated to buy a home. Do you have some time over the next couple of days that we can sit down with you and take down your information?
Well, I'm pretty busy, and as I said, we're kind of early for that, I think. So, what I can do is, I can email you what we're looking for, or I can just tell you over the phone. It's not really all that specific, I don't think, what we're kind of keeping our eyes out for.
Well, you know what? Rather than emailing you hundreds of houses that might or might not match exactly what you're looking for, or possibly missing out on the perfect one, all we would do is sit down with you for 10 or 15 minutes. It's not a full afternoon. It's not a whole evening. It doesn't take up a lot of your time. And it's actually meant for busy people like you that, rather than you having to flip through pages and pages of houses, we send you the information that you find interesting for yourself, especially with your search, because clearly you've said that you are searching. So all it takes is 10 or 15 minutes. We sit down with you, and we'll take down that info. You pretty well know what your criteria is. So, the more information you have when you come into the office and you're prepared for it, the quicker we can get through the process. So what works best for you? Are your days available, or evenings, or how about the weekend? I can have someone here at the office meet you on Saturday.
Yeah, I was going to say probably sometime in the evening, any day next week. But I'd really like to, I'll probably talk to my wife about it first, and then sort of confirm with you.
Okay, so do you have a date and a time available that I can book you in tentatively, and then I can double check with you maybe later on tonight or tomorrow once you've had a chance to talk to her, once I have you in their schedule, because their schedule pretty well, starts to fill up as the weekends get closer and everybody wants to get in, and I'd love to put you in the schedule, and if it doesn't work out, I can follow up with you tomorrow night and maybe switch the day or switch the time.
Okay, well, why don't we do a Monday anytime after 5 p.m.?
Okay, how about 5:30? How's that?
Perfect.
Okay, so we'll see you at 5:30 at our office, and I'll email you the agent that you're going to be meeting and their phone number and the address to the office.
Oh, so we're not meeting with you?
Well, I'll be here, but you will meet one of our agents who specializes in the area that you're looking for.
Oh, I see. Okay, and you're going to confirm the appointment with me?
Yes, I will.
I need to talk to my wife.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
First of all, we'll just cut it here while this is fresh. You know what? I wouldn't recommend doing that. Okay, just while this is fresh in our minds right now. Okay. You know what? Why do that? They're coming to your office. They book the appointment. They're comfortable with you. It's not that you're not saying they're meeting with you, but you're certainly not saying you're going to meet with some stranger that you haven't met yet. There's just no benefit in that. All that's going to happen is you're making it more likely that the prospect cancels the appointment. Okay, so when they show up to the appointment, they can ask for you. You're going to meet them and introduce them at that time to the buyer specialist who's going to be helping them.
Okay.
Right, that's no problem. Or they ask for you and maybe you're not there that evening. So instead they ask for you, but you know that if they're asking for you why they're there, so then, whoever comes and meets with them and says, oh, hi, I know that you had spoken and with Rena and, et cetera. Okay, so that's probably a better way to do that. We don't want to give them a reason why they would feel even more uncomfortable about keeping the appointment.
Okay.
And I got to tell you, you can feel it. As soon as you say, you're going to be meeting with, I don't even know who yet, I'll let you know. You can feel it just turns cold. And all of a sudden it's like, yeah, you know what? That doesn't sound like you've just taken away the whole benefit. So I wouldn't recommend doing that. Okay, now here's the deal with this, okay? there's some key phrasing that I want you to use. And I got to say this, your whole role play was excellent. The whole thing
Thank
is
you.
really, really good, really good. Okay, but what you need to do is you need to understand that this is to the prospect's benefit, even if they're not buying anything for 6 months or a year. And you know what? If you're running into objections to meet, you need to tell them that. See, here's the problem. If I think, as the prospect, if I think that you think that I'm going to be buying something like now, do you know how apprehensive that makes me to meet with you? Like, I'm kind of sitting here thinking, this woman thinks that I'm going to buy something. Like, I'm not buying something today. I am not going to buy anything for months probably, if at all. So I don't think she gets that. So guess what? I don't want to meet with you because you don't seem to understand that I'm not in a position, I'm not ready to buy something right now. You need to make it clear that you understand that. You need to use language that says, you know what? You might be looking at properties for several months here. There's a better way for you to find the property that you're looking for. If you don't miss out on the perfect property, then you've got a much better shot at finding the one that you're looking for. If I email you all of the properties that perfectly match what you're looking for every day, I don't care if you're receiving these properties for months. That's perfectly fine. It may take that long for you to find the perfect property. It's free. There's no obligation. Okay, but if you use that kind of language and the prospect, this is what the prospect thinks. Hey, you know what? She seems to understand my position. She understands that I'm not going to be buying anything right now. It matters. It makes a huge difference to the comfort level of that prospect meeting with you now. Okay. Now, here's some other language that I want you to test. What you want to say to the prospect when you're booking the appointment is this. It's really important to me, as I'm sure it is to you, that I do a good job for you. It's really important that I do a good job for you. And here's the truth. And this is not in the script. I'm talking to you right now. Okay?
Yep.
Is it true that you would do a better job for them if you met with them versus doing a good job for them without meeting with them? Do you agree that you will always do a better job for a client that you meet with than a client that you've never met with? Do you agree with that?
I agree very much.
So we know that it is in their best interest to meet with us. And the reason is because we can do a better job for them if we have time to sit down with them and meet with them and determine in detail exactly what it is they're looking for, understand their needs, understand their timing, understand their situation. You know, if we can do that, we will do a better job for them. So you know what this means? We need to tell them that. We need to be able to say, look, I know you might be looking for months here, but it's important to me that I do a good job for you. And I'm sure it's important to you that I do a good job for you. And what I find is this, if we can sit down for 15 or 20 minutes, I can do a really good, accurate job of determining what you're looking for so that if I'm going to be emailing you the very best properties that match what you're looking for on a daily basis, I know that those properties are exactly what you're looking for and that I've done a great job for you and you're really going to get the most out of this. It's free. There isn't any obligation, and I'm flexible. When would be a good time for you to spend 15 minutes so we can do a really good job for you? Okay. I want you to experiment. Those are the two things that if I was experiencing what you're telling me you're experiencing, those are the two things I would insert. Okay? The first is to make sure you understand their timing and you're not suggesting to them in any way that you think that they're going to be buying something or doing something, today. If they feel that way, they put on the brakes.
I agree.
And number two, you've got to use that language. It's important that I do a good job for you. No one can object to you saying, I want to do a good job. They want you to do a good job. They want a good. So if we say, look, here's the reason we need to meet. The reason we need to meet is it's important to me that I do a good job for you. And I'm sure it's important to you as well. And even if I'm emailing you these properties for months, I want to make sure that the properties I'm sending you are the best properties that perfectly match what you want. I don't want you missing out on what would have been your dream home because we didn't bother doing a good job. There's no cost. I'm not charging you any money. I'm not going to obligate you to buy anything. But I do want to do a good job, and I know you want me to do a good job. And I'm flexible. You're busy. You tell me when would be a good time for you to spend 50 minutes with me, days, evenings, weekends. Okay? You insert that verbiage into your offer. You're going to book more appointments.
Okay, I appreciate that, because that's where I'm losing people. That's where I'm losing people, because nobody wants. Everybody's, well, no, we're just looking. The motivation is there somewhat. The timing is not there.
Okay,
and
remember, here's something else I want to remind you of as well. You understand that the buyer offer is an offer to help somebody look. The buyer offer doesn't help anybody buy a home. It helps them look for a home. So here's the question. Are you looking for a home? Now, if they have to say yes, because the only reason you're calling them is because they responded to an ad about homes. So by virtue of the fact that you were looking for homes, that's how you found my ad. That's why you responded to my ad, is because it offered homes. I know you're looking for a home already. All I'm saying is this. You're looking for a home right now. I know that because you responded to my ad. I have a better way for you to look for homes, a much more thorough way, a way that ensures you do not miss out on the perfect property, and a way that's easier for you. They're in your inbox, in your email. You don't have to search yourself. They're there. They're all the best deals, including properties that you won't find yourself. It's free. There's no obligation to buy any of them, but it's important to me that if I'm going to do this, I can do a good job for you. All it required to do a good job is 15 minutes at your convenience. Does that sound fair?
Yep.
Okay. You need to make sure that they understand your appointment is not about buying a home. It's about looking for a home. And they all have this in common. The reason they responded to your ad in the first place is because they were all looking for a home. That's how they found your ad in the first place. Okay?
That's right.
They will respond to logic. Okay? Sometimes you just need to point it out to them. Okay, good job.
Thank you very much.
Let me know how those little changes work.
Yes,
let me know how those little changes work, and I'm sure we'll have some good success stories. Okay, Andrea, let's take another.
Yes, sir. Our next guest is Brooke Nicholson. Your mic is now open. Brooks? Nope. We will go on to Marcelina Martel. Your mic is now open. Marcelina?
Yep, I'm here.
Hello, hello.
Hello.
How are you today?
I'm great. How are you?
Excellent, excellent.
I'm learning
Marcelina.
lots.
Are you? Okay,
Oh,
good.
yes.
Well, first of all, tell us what we're doing here today.
We're going to do seller follow-up.
Okay, seller follow-up. And first of all, let me just ask you a couple little background questions. How are you doing with your follow-up to this point? Is
Well,
this something you're relatively
I'm doing
good at?
great. I'm doing great. I mean, I feel like the last two calls, we're getting, I'm finding the prospects, we're qualifying them, but a lot of them are, they're not quite ready to make a move. So not making too many seller appointments, nailing the buyer appointments, doing a good job on that. But
Okay,
still
you are nailing the
yeah,
buyer.
I am.
Okay, good.
I've gone on several. Yeah. And we're
Okay,
helping
good.
buyers right now. So
Okay, remember this.
Yeah.
Okay, remember this. With the sellers, what you've got to remember is most sellers are also buyers. Okay? Not always, but I mean, let's face it. If you sell your home, you got to live somewhere, right? And in the majority of instances, depending on where your marketplace is, the seller it isn't unlikely that they're going to stay local. And if that's true, making the seller the buyer offer is the easiest way to procure that seller as a client.
Yep.
Okay, so remember that. Just because they responded to a seller ad doesn't mean that you can only make them the seller offer.
Yep. Most of them are renting right now, but I do have some in the pipeline that need to sell before, they buy. So, yeah.
Okay, but you're referring to the buyers, though. We're talking about sellers. If someone responds to a seller offer,
Oh, okay.
they're not renting.
Oh, okay, yeah. I see what you're saying. Absolutely.
Right? Okay, so ring, hello?
Hello, is James there?
Yeah, this is James.
Hi, James. This is Marcelina, and the reason I'm calling is because I had received your request for the information you wanted regarding your Aliso Viejo home worth, and I just wanted to let you know that I've popped that in the mail. Is that okay?
I thought that was online.
It is. Let me ask you, are you folks planning on making a move in the next 3 to 6 months?
Yeah, we're thinking about it. I mean, we're looking around, we're weighing our options, and depending on a couple different things, it's something we're considering.
If you were to move, would you be staying in the area, or would you be moving out?
Well, we're going to stay sort of in South Orange County, but we're open to a couple different areas that we're kind of looking at.
Okay, and do you have any idea as to when that might be?
No, as I said, we're really just looking right now.
Just the beginning stages.
Yeah, we're just kind of seeing what's available and, sort of.
Okay. Fair enough. Do you have a realtor to help you when the time is right?
Well, you know what? We've been to a couple of open houses and over the last few weeks, and so we've met some agents that have been sending us properties and offered to take us out and show, look at some properties. So,
yes, they're like rats coming out of the woodwork.
There are plenty of realtors looking to help us, which is wonderful.
But you haven't committed to any one of them.
No, we're not committed to anybody. I think we're a little early to commit to anybody yet.
Okay, so it sounds like you're out looking around at homes. Would you need to buy before listing your home, or would you want to sell first?
Well, we need the money from our property to buy our next home.
Mm-hmm.
But we'd have to do it. I mean, I guess we'd have to do it at the exact same time. We'd need the money from our property to go into the property that we would be buying.
Okay.
I guess we're looking around, and we need to sell our home, but we have a fairly good idea of our home's value, like sort of ballpark. But you know what? We keep hearing that the market is improving, and so maybe just saw your ad and thought might as well see if maybe that tells us something different.
Okay. Would you like me to email you updates of homes that match your home buying criteria from all real estate companies? Our list includes bank foreclosures, company-owned properties, other properties that may not even be on the market yet. It's a free service, and, of course, you're never obligated to buy a home. Would that interest you?
You know what? As I said, I've got a couple of realtors that we've met. They're sending me properties as well, so I'm kind of getting maybe a little inundated with emails from realtors. But you know what? If you maybe if you've got something different, I guess it wouldn't hurt. They're just emails, so that would be great.
Yeah, as I said, typically the home that you're going to buy may not even be on the market yet. What I'd like to do is get together for about 20 minutes so we can take down exactly what you're looking for. Would that work for you?
I'm
not sure.
At some point it probably would.
Okay, well,
probably not right now.
Okay, well, the reason I say that is because I know you're receiving information from other agents. I'm not sure what they're selling or sending you at this time, but what I'd like to do is rather than email you hundreds of homes that you may or may not match your criteria, risk missing out on that perfect home, if we could get together just for a few minutes and we can take down exactly what you're looking for. Again, it's a free service. You're not obligated to buy a home. Does that sound like it would interest you at all?
Yeah. I mean, as long as you, there's no obligation to buy anything or charge or anything like that, because we're really early. We're early in the process, and so all the help that we can get would be great. But we definitely don't want to be pressured into buying something right away.
Absolutely, absolutely. Again, it's a free service. You're not obligated to buy a home through me. When would be good to get together, days or evenings?
Probably evenings.
Okay, I have availability tomorrow at 5. Would that work for you?
Sure.
Okay, perfect. I will, do you want to come to my office or shall I come to your house?
Okay, so let me just stop you right here.
That's where I screwed up because I could have went and given him the
Well, and I would have done that before even booking the appointment. Okay, so here's what, in other words, the way that you book the appointment is by making them the seller offer now.
Yes.
So in other words, you've said to me, hey, would this be, this would be helpful. I don't know what the other agents are sending you, but I do know this. I'm going to include the properties that have yet to come on the market that represent excellent deals. You know, bank foreclosures, company-owned distress sales. If it's a great deal, it'll be included as well, and it's free and there's no obligation. I just want to know exactly what it is you're looking for in detail. But I'll tell you what, if I can come and take a look at your home as well, I can give you a much more accurate understanding of what your home would likely sell for, and I can point out some inexpensive tips, some things to do and not do to better prepare your home for sale. We can go over a net sheet, give you an idea of closing costs and what you'll have left in your pocket. We can do all of that at the same time right at your home. Mm-hmm. What would be a convenient time for you, days, evenings, or weekends?
Right. So I needed to combine the two.
Right, and that's a perfect opportunity. Remember this, when you have a prospect that is looking for a home and they have a listing, you always want to try to book the appointment at their home, not only because there's a chance you might be able to get their listing at that time, but because what it does is it really makes sense of the appointment. It says, look at all the benefits of this appointment. Not only am I going to take down what you're looking for so that I can email you the best properties, but heck, while I'm there, I will give you an accurate evaluation. I'm going to give you a list of some tips that you can do, inexpensive things that you can do to make your home worth more money, and we can go over a net sheet together. And the whole thing is free. But this will really put you in the driver's seat and give you some really great knowledge as to where you stand moving forward here. And it's all free. There's no obligation to buy anything. And I'm flexible. What would be a good time?
Yeah, that was perfect.
That'll make booking those appointments really easy.
Yep. So, yeah, I got a little I get to that point, and to try to figure out where to go sometimes is for me, the hardest part. Because I'm talking to these people, they're answering my questions, but when you get to the end, you really have to listen so you know where to go.
Yeah, well, bear this in mind, okay? This is important for everybody as we close off here today. Remember this, okay? When you're making the buyer offer, the prospect needs to understand that you're not proposing that you're sending them a list of properties. There's nothing compelling about a list of properties. What is compelling is receiving properties every day as soon as they come on the market. Think of the difference. If I send you a list of properties, it means here are properties that are on the market. Versus I'm proposing to send you properties that have yet to come on the market. But as they do, as long as they match what you're looking for, boom, they're going to be sitting in your email inbox. That is way more compelling to a prospect. Okay? So you need to make sure that they understand that for every one of you that are making that buyer offer, you need to paint that picture. Here's the picture. Every day you're looking at your phone, and your email is going to have that little red dot beside it. Every time a property comes on the market that matches what you're looking for and is a great deal, it's going to be sitting there. You're going to click on it, and you're going to see all the details of this property that has just come on the market. And you're going to be looking at that property before other buyers. And it's free, and there's no obligation. And I don't know what the other realtors are sending you, but I'm going to make sure that you get these properties as soon as they come on the market, and I'm going to include bank foreclosures, distress sales, company-owned properties, the best deals that you're looking for. Boom, they're going to be sitting there in your inbox. It's free. There's no obligation to buy anything. Would that be helpful? Yes. If you're looking for a property, there's no better way to do it. So paint that picture. by using your words. Remember, we talked about this earlier on our webinar here, that we will be paid proportionally to the quality of words that come out of our mouth. That is the skills that you will learn, and as you become more skillful with those words, what you're going to find is prospects are painting that picture, and booking appointments with highly qualified prospects becomes easy. I want to thank everybody who volunteered today and everybody who participated today. I'm really looking forward to next Thursday. We do this every Thursday, as you know, and it's always great, and I always appreciate everybody volunteering and all of the questions. Remember this, tomorrow is our ad clinic with Craig. Craig is going to be looking and critiquing all of your ads, so take the time immediately. We're going to wrap up here today. I want you to upload the ads that you're running right now so that Craig can critique them and give you advice on how to make them even better than they already are. And if you're struggling with an ad, or if the ad's working wonderfully, there is no downside to uploading that ad so that Craig can look at it and give you his expert opinion on what you could do to test a different approach and get a different result, a better result. So that's tomorrow, same time. You're going to log on to that webinar, and then we'll look at as many of those ads as well. We'll look at all of the ads tomorrow. So until then, Andrea, thank you so much for your help as well, and thanks to everybody for participating today.
Thank you, James. Thank you, everyone, for logging on today. We'll talk to you all on tomorrow's ad clinic session. Have a wonderful afternoon.